The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The famous North Wilkesboro Speedway, built in the late 1940s, left to rot in the 1990s, and then rebuilt towards the end of the pandemic. While it is completely repaved and refurnished in the real world, tonight we take a step back to the 1987 version for another round here of the Goose Graphics Late Model Stock Tour. Race number 8 here on the board, and happy to give you the coverage here right on PTR TV. It's going to be the Davis Chassis Works 120 here from the famed 5/8 mile racetrack. Of course, here in the booth, going to be myself, Corey Silva, and I got Andre Grandbush here after an unintentional week off he had. But we're going to be back here to give the call. So, Andre, we always have a good race with these guys. We never have a short field, and we got about 20 some odd cars here tonight. So, short track. Tough to pass, a lot of cars out here, should be interesting.
Yeah, this league's been pulling pretty big fields lately, and you pull these big fields at a track like this, and it's definitely going to put on an action-filled race, especially with the updates we've had to iRacing, the dynamic track. Things going to be a little bit different, unfamiliar for these guys, so anytime you throw a wild card into it, generally it improves the product, so we'll see exactly what happens tonight. But you can see these drivers are on track practicing, getting ready to go. And so far, it's going to be Cabe McClenny topping the board, but yeah, looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, I'm currently in a warm-up session with about 2 minutes left. Qualifying has already subsided there. When it pertains to the point standings here, again, race 8 out of 10, season coming to a quick close. The top of the standings has been something to talk about here all season. Chris Horton up by just a mere 3 points over JJ Goodbout. Nathan Rue only 6 points back in the third spot. One of these classic championship battles. Who needs playoffs when you get standings this close? Oh, natural. Then you have Garrett and Mekas 4th and 5th. They are a ways back, but those top 3, we'll see how they do fare here on the evening. Again, 21 cars strong, I do believe, somewhere on those lines. So happy to have that covered. I want to thank everyone tuning in here to PTR TV. Thank all of the compliments getting there in chat. Always have fun with these races, and we'll see what these guys can do. But before this race does fire off, we want to go ahead and pay homage to our great American nation and go ahead and play our national anthem. All right, now that our national anthem has concluded, these guys will head down trackside and prepare for tonight's festivities. So we'll go right down with them and give you the PTRTV starting lineup here today for the Goose Graphics late model stock tour right here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Starting today's race from the front row is going to be Cabe McClenny there with an 18 flat. Brent Mekas there. Talked about him being about 4th in points. Well, he's going to be doing that from the 2nd spot. P3 is going to be Nathan Rue. He is one of those championship battlers here, along with Chris Horton. They're going to be battling together from row number 2. 3rd row finds Kyle Heaton, and then Cam Stone. Looks like he's in a sun drop ride here this evening in the 6th spot. Bailey Galinas in 7th with Cody Giles in 8th. 9th and 10th you have Spencer Teal and Mike Little.
Outside the top 10, we're going to find James Morris in P11. And we have scrolled too far, so I guess we'll never know who is in P12. JJ Goodbout going to be P13. Deegan Smith is 14th. 15th going to belong solely to Travis Suckup and Jonathan Golden alongside him, P16. 17th finds Scott Mayhew Jr. He's alongside the mad scientist Mark P18. Cameron Bennett and John Garrett going to round out 19 and 20. Just to round out the rest of the field, we do have Stephen Barnett in the 15 machine, P21. Got a few cars to pass, but we got a long race to make some passes, and may even see some green flag pitting is what I'm hearing from the admins should this race stay green. But the lights are out on the pace car, just enough time to get that starting grid out of the way, unless they have extended it. I see the pace car is going by again. Weather information on screen, 78 in the air, 82 on the track currently. So a little bit warm, not blazing hot, but these guys definitely going to feel it. And again, the temperature will affect how the rubber lays down and the new dynamic overhaul to the track that we got over the last week. That's the big story and the thing that these guys have been focused on most. But down the back straightaway for the final pace lap here before we get started, pace car should be pulling in for realsy reals this time. And it will be that 67 leading us to the green flag here at the historic North Wilkesboro location. We wanted to save the speedway. iRacing, well, they saved it long before it got saved in real life. And here we are, green flag underway.
Yep, heading off and firing into corner number 1 here. And on that outside lane, we got the 44 of Brent Mekas here. I'm getting aware that I need to update the paint schemes here. So apologies here if someone's not driving the right car, but either way, battle for that first spot is concluded. It'll be Mekas and Rue, 2nd and 3rd here. Again, firing off. North Wilkesboro does tend, Andre, to be a track where it is hard to pass. That outside has a little bit more banking. The inside is flatter, so that does tend to keep some side by side. Then you have all the bumps down there that you'll have to contend with. Mekas there trying to work that high side there. Looks like it has not quite worked in yet.
No, it'll take a while before that becomes feasible, and the tires being worn will help, but right now these guys can run the bottom, and that's going to be the place to be. So if you're shuffled out of line up top, you're not going to be having the best of times. But this side-by-side battle for 3rd place, Chris Horton, Brent Mekas, these drivers, no strangers to one another. They've had some good battles all year long, and battling even more behind them, that is going to be Cameron Stone and Kyle Heaton. These two side-by-side with Bailey Galinas. He is just sitting here watching this battle transpire, trying to sneak by. A little bit tight out of the 99, but he does a good job keeping it in line there. And that's what you're going to see, Corey. If they get the curb, and there is a sizable curb, or if they get sideways, they're going to slide up that track. It's going to be a scary situation.
Yes, indeed it will. So battling on down there into turn number 3 here. So so far so good, clean and green. Oh, somebody's getting a little bit free there, back of the pack. I think that was the sun drop car, 45 here, Travis Suckup. Gonna go brief radio style for a moment because I have been told that paint schemes and iRacing did do an update here, and sometimes that does throw off some of the numbers here, so I do apologize for that post patch here. Absolutely anything is possible here on the iRacing service, as any long-time member will allude to, but we'll wait for those paint schemes to reload here, back here on the background here. Yep, I think the number button, for some reason, there's always one button that I never touch. Every time I do an update, it always touches itself. So go figure there, but that situation has averted here. But looks like the first side-by-side battle we have. Going to go back there to Cam Stone, and just as I say that, I guess I should have kept the paint schemes outdated, I suppose. But John T. Garrett, our ARCA driver here, having some issues, and he's going to need to get going if he wants to keep on the lead lap.
Yeah, he is just barely going to stay ahead of that pace car, but appears to have had some issues. Maybe got a little bit of help from Mark Royer. I don't know. It might be too early to tell. We'll rewind just a little bit further. Keep your eye on that number 66 and see. Yeah, that might have been either he just got loose or a little bit of netcode. The camera angle was not very conducive to our purposes there. We'll take another look at the PTRTV replay. Here we go. On board with Mark, and yeah, he got a little bit of help there.
I'd say 70% internet, 30% probably was going to happen either way.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say 70% that was probably going to happen. No, 30% internet. But we don't know what happened before that. Obviously, with this short track and late model racing in general, generally when you see something like that, there's more pages to that story, and we just read the last one. So, maybe he and Mark were going back and forth, or maybe he just broke a little bit more than Mark was expecting. It's tough, man. These short track races, again, we don't have brake lights, so if somebody gets on the brakes a little bit harder, a little bit quicker than what you're expecting, and you're not vigilantly watching their suspension to see what their car does, you might just find yourself driving up their rear bumper. But it is going to be Cabe still in the lead in that Nerds car. It's a beautiful paint scheme. Nerds of all candy, really.
Yeah, well, that's not the camera. I hate that camera. But, yeah, I've never really been a fan. I mean, I like pop rocks, but never really been a Nerds person. So, well, to each their own, I suppose. And
I will say, it is a good-looking scheme. I do like the car. Maybe it's going to bring me around on Nerds.
So this is the first broadcast I think I've done since the build. So I am kind of learning some nuances here, and I'm pretty sure my cameras got ruined too. So we're about 0 for 2 here, at least in this. But we will make the best of that. But green one to go, rather, has been waived here. So we got Nerds and what is that? Rural King, which has been announced to my knowledge there on that outside lane. And then Mekis and Horton on row number 2. Our other championship contender going to be in the form of JJ Goodbout. He's all the way back there in 13th, still in that Hornet's nest there, down there on that back straightaway. But coming down through 3 and 4, pace car is going to pull in, and Barney's going to get ourselves on that accelerator one more time. Let's get ourselves going. The 67 going to get that jump, and then they'll fire off and funnel in behind him.
Yeah, he's going to be just about the only one single file, because everybody behind him currently battling for position 2 by 2 all the way through the field. See a little bit of smoke off the outside wall. That means somebody had a bit of an excursion there, but that's to be expected. A lot of cars fighting for very little real estate. Coming out of the corner, the fast line is going to be to slide up to that concrete wall. But of course, it's a fine line to walk. We're going to go 3 wide for a moment further back in the field. These guys doing everything they can to make some overtakes, try to get through the field.
Now, Andrea, when we get back to that back straightaway, I do want to point out something that caught me out here at North Wilkesboro. Not a problem that you'll see in the New World, something you'll see back in circa 1987. You will be surprised. I almost guarantee that is going to come into effect here at some point tonight. Someone is going to go a little bit too wide here on that back straightaway and absolutely get just obliterated, but probably into 2023. So you're going to have to make sure you mind your P's and Q's there on that back straightaway. Somebody got really loose. That orange vehicle there, that is the 86 of Jonathan Golden, but he gets it wound back up. Scott Mayhew does not get it wound back up. He's down in the grass, but keeps it going.
Mr. Mayhew not having the best time on the back straightaway, but luckily not going all the way around. He is able to recover, so we're going to stay green for the time being. Meanwhile, as our leader, Cade McClenney, is out to about 0.4 of a second lead, it is going to be Chris Horton behind him. A lot of wins under his belt. That 42 is not a driver you want to see in your mirror, because you know he's going to be fast. He's also got Nathan Rue, who's been very competitive. Brent Mekis, a lot of familiar faces out front. Bailey Galinas in the 78. He's been quick so far tonight. And these drivers all consisting of the top 5. A little bit further back, you got some heavy hitters that I'm surprised are that far back. JJ Goodbout in 13th. He didn't qualify the best. But we know that JJ's a winning driver, and as I say that, he gets into the wall a little bit, but he is struggling here. Look, as a huge wreck happens in front of him. We go on board at the perfect time. Good camera work there, Corey. And he's going to get through it. So, hey, put him up a few positions on the board.
Yeah, I'll take the compliment, but it was dumb luck. But we'll see what happens there. 46 car of Mike Little, and a little bit of contact there, but he's getting himself wound down. It looks like the 44, Brent Mekis. He's one of our top 5 in the standings here. That he was at the root of this problem here. You can see that maroon and black car to the inside of the racetrack. That looked very similar to the wreck that happened with Mark Royer and that other driver there, 15. Kind of blew on in there. But let's go back from the rear deck lid cam of the 44 to try to get some answers here.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he got a little bit up there. And it was just enough, and then unfortunately some drivers piling in there. You're going to see the 15. It's getting a little bit sideways. Luckily this time, Corey, as everybody was recovering, we didn't have a parking lot as we tend to have in these big spins, but...
yeah, we have 0.68... No, don't... Oh, my God. This is going to bother me, Andrea. You're Mr. Statistician. I keep getting this mixed up with IRP. IRP is 0.686. Bristol is 0.533. Martinsville is 0.526. The distance here is in the sixes. It's 0.6 something.
I want to say it's 6.7 something.
And I don't have, I know factually the graphic for this track is going to be broken. Oh, you know what? We're going to try it anyways. I know this graphic is going to be broken and it's going to show this track as a circle, but it'll give us the distance at least. Oh, not that one. It is this one? 0.52? There's no way that's right.
No.
We're going to have to pop a goog.
Yeah, we might have to pop a goog. I'm going to do that.
But the moral of the story through that numeric debate is this track is a lot bigger and wider than where we've been in prior weeks, such as the other tracks. Where were we? Langley last week, Hickory, these tracks that are just not very large at all. So have a little bit more space to work with here, which will be appreciated by some of these drivers as we enter turn number 3 on 1 lap to go.
0.625 miles is the length here.
I was going to say 626. I would have been over Price is Right style.
Just a wee bit. But the lights are off on the pace car. It is going to be the Nerds machine, the 67. Trying to get back out to that solo lead. He's got a heavy hitter out to his outside, the 42, Chris Horton, trying to stay with the bumper. He got a good jump, but it may not be enough. Nathan Rue's going to dive down to the bottom with a little bit of a challenge from Galenas as well there. These drivers all under a blanket down into 3 and 4, staying side by side. My, oh my, I can't even tell you who has the advantage here. Very similar in pace. Looks like the outside got a bit of a drive down the straightaway, so 42 pulls ahead just a little bit, but as they go through the corner, it looks like, oh boy, further back, 13 puts the bumper a little bit to whoever's in front of him there, that 78 machine. Cameron Stone, the 98 machine. He'll get a little bit loose there, maybe not being careful enough on that throttle, got a little bit too much beans.
Uh-oh, there we go again. Oh, JJ in the air. JJ Goodboat had some aerial assault time there. As wreckage aplenty here to start the day at North Wilkesboro. JJ on that left side of the screen, that black and green vehicle.
And it has not been a good day for JJ. He, again, didn't qualify the best, and a big hit right there, sending him airborne. That's going to be significant damage. And, yeah, that's the importance of qualifying, because you know that 92 is fast. This isn't really a driver issue. It's more just he's in the pack. You know, he's in the field. There's really nothing he can do. And sometimes that's what happens. You know, if you're the 67, you qualify well, you get out front, you stay there, things are a little bit easier. But everybody else, you know, they're in the thick of it. So, and it doesn't seem like these cars are handling all that well. Cameron Stone's not the only driver I've seen get a little bit loose on his own. Seen a few other drivers get a little bit sideways, so the track apparently a little bit slick here. And, of course, still pretty rough. Obviously, iRacing has not, and I hope they will not, scan the new pavement here at North Wilkesboro. This is still a relatively rough surface, maybe not as rough as it was when it was repaved, but definitely got a few good bumps here and there. These drivers got a lot to think about. And one thing I do want to go back to, Corey, is the fact that they may pit. What Dylan was telling me is that for handling purposes, a few drivers have opted to not fill their fuel tanks all the way, meaning they can't make it to the end. So they're kind of banking on these cautions to either coast to the end or provide an opportunity to pit. And for the other thing that I heard was that 2 tires is going to be beneficial. So sometimes 2 tires is actually just worse than not taking any tires at all, because it offsets the tire wear and makes the car handle bad. But from what I hear, that is the play if you are going to pit.
He just cut this yellow, and everybody had to group together
Oh boy.
Rather cool. Never mind. Because it instantly said 1 to go. Everyone doubled up as if their life was on the line there. And then we then got another caution lap there. So worth noting, PTRTV, if you do follow us, we are on a double duty night here, as I do have a trip to Daytona Road for the Red Sox Racing League post this race. So we are on a 1-hour race timer in this. So worst comes to worst, this race will end. I think the timer is at... Actually, I don't know what the timer is at right now, but I think we should be fine. We have 1 hour to finish this race. We should be good, barring catastrophe here. But green flag back in the air. That 67 getting his jumps. Hasn't really been contested at all this evening, but on that inside lane, Bailey Galinas in the 78. He was a very quick driver last week and is trying to recoup that same effort there. Fighting down to the bottom. Horton was kind of pinching him down there, very close side-by-side racing there, and they'll do that in good proximity. But looking back here, 2 by 2 by 2, about 6 down back.
Yeah, they are going to stay side by side. The 15 machine on the outside, trying to get a run on Cameron Stone. Cam a little bit sideways there. That'll give the advantage to that 15, as he is going to try to sneak around on the outside. But again, that outside, we haven't quite been green for enough laps. I don't think that anybody's been running that line quite enough yet to really rubber it up and make it viable. It may well happen.
Oh, who's that? That teal blue car. That's
15.
I don't think it's actually a 15 here. It's
Might be a 16.
Yeah, Deegan Smith, that is, in the pseudo 15-16 car, got a really high line there. And get to kind of layman's terms to what we've been alluding to, iRacing has updated their track physics. So the more times a car will go on a certain place on the track, the hotter that piece of asphalt becomes. And in turn, the hotter the asphalt becomes, the slicker that asphalt becomes, which can make it advantageous to try out other lanes on the track, create that multi-lane racing. But we'll pause that thought because the mad scientist is probably mad after another issue here on the front straightaway here, Mark Royer.
Yeah, Mark Royer, this is going to be the second yellow of the night that he was involved in. We'll see exactly what happened here. A little bit of a wiggle there, and then a tap from the 86.
That's Jonathan Golden there, and then Royer just kind of backs up the track. Yeah, he was just kind of all over the place, but kind of was still in control in an out-of-control manner, if that makes any form of sense. And I think maybe the 86 thought there was a gap there, but gap done there, filled in. But as the cautions become aplenty here, we're just going to take a quick little breather here. We'll be back with you for the restart. Please stay with us. And we're back here on PTRTV after caution number, you got a guess, Andre?
5.
I'll say 4, just because differences. After caution number 4, so, I mean, I'll still give you credit, because if you didn't guess, I wouldn't have had one to up you on there, but either way, we'll try it once more after the 4th restart here of the evening. It's going to be Cade McClenny on the loud pedal. Green flag in the air. Looks like Bailey Galinas, he was out and ready to play on that one. Follows him right into corner number 1, but not enough to clear Horton on that outside lane. Horton, as you can see him wheeling the car through the window there, trying to keep himself in good position. Doesn't want to get fallen behind there, stuck on that outside lane. He's to the outside of Galinas. Maybe that outside lane starting to come in as a little bit of fence contact there from Horton.
Yeah, Chris got into that outside, and now Horton hears a Rue because Rue is closing in. He is getting a good run through the corner as these two continue to battle, siphon speed away from one another, much to the advantage of our leader, who's saying, yeah, you guys stay side by side. You guys keep doing that. And they are going to stay wheel to wheel. A little bit of a wiggle out of Horton. That is going to be a detriment to his momentum. But actually, as I say that, he gets a good deep dive down into the corner, gets the advantage momentarily, but immediately that 78 is going to try to take that advantage back. He's going to run him up to the top of the track, try to make him use up every inch of the pavement that he can, but it does not work out as Chris Horton is going to take that position regardless. So P2 now for Chris Horton. Bailey is going to have to settle into third. He's got Nathan Rue right behind, and we got some struggles back here.
Yeah, looks like everybody got everybody's coordinated there. I think that was Mayhew again, got a little bit free, but just as we thought the battle's over, Galinas is going to get himself wheeled back up, and Horton really struggling on that outside lane on corner exits, and now he's struggling on corner entry, Tokyo drift style there, really trying to get that thing wound back up, and Rue has heard the call, and he will put himself in that third spot. Horton's going to have to cool down that right rear and try to get some handle back.
Yeah, they must really be struggling with handling. It's crazy to me, some of the drivers that we're seeing make these mistakes. Drivers like Chris Horton, JJ Goodbat, I mean, these are heavy hitters, and these cars are just fighting them at every step. So whatever these guys are dealing with behind the wheel, as I see some smoke coming out of the corner, not sure the cause, but whatever the situation is, it is not ideal for these guys behind the wheel. Now Horton going to try to take third place back, and Kashi comes out for the 5th time tonight. That is going to be the 66 machine yet again.
Yeah, he was rather slow, but I didn't pan to it. But apparently I should have, as replay will soon dictate. He lost it into 1, took the 15 for a little ride. But I think the 15 was able to hang on to it, but that was a ticky-tack caution there by Barney, if that's indeed what it was.
Well, then here comes the leaders as he's...
Yeah, he's facing the right way up to at a modest speed, so I'm going to call that a ticky-tack caution.
I wouldn't say that was modest. I would say that was pulling into the driveway speed there. But hey, we are approaching lap 50. We're going to throw it to another short break. We'll be back for the drop the green. Stay tuned. You won't miss a thing. we are back here at the Goose Graphics Racing League. We have lights out on the pace car, 67 machine leading the way, and we have gone to single file restarts to try and clean this up just a little bit. See if we can't get some green flag laps under our belt, meet that time quota we have. Again, double duty night here, so we want to get this race wrapped up so that Corey can get on his plane in time. But in the meantime, it looks like a bit of a battle emerging here. Not an unfamiliar battle. Chris Horton and Nathan Rue, these two drivers trying to duke it out for the last step on the podium. 42 down low, but I'll tell you what, Nathan's done a great job before the caution came out and now after, holding his line up top, keeping that 42 at bay. It really doesn't seem like either line has much of an advantage at this point, Corey. I mean, from what I've seen, the outside and the inside can maintain their runs, and this is the dynamic track at work right here. I mean, this is, I think a couple weeks ago, the bottom lane would have been dominant. Nathan would not be able to compete the way he has, but he's doing a good job up there.
No, I fully agree with you. This is what we've asked for, and on the iRacing service, I've read some really good things. I'm actually going to run a race voluntarily because I've heard how good Texas races. Go figure, words that never utter out of anybody's mouth. So good stuff to see. The only thing that I've noticed is that outside lane really starting to struggle on corner exits. I think as they have the car loaded up and turned off the top, they're really getting loose off the exit. But when you're down low, you can kind of get a straighter shot off, which I think is kind of inverse as to how it normally would work. But I'm not the mechanic there. But Horton really, I don't know how much tire he's going to have left on it. Between him getting loose on the top of the racetrack as many times he's had, and now he's burning the right front up trying to stay on that white line down there. He is really having to work the tires, the Hoosiers, on that number 42, and we're only halfway now.
Yeah, we are just approaching the halfway mark, and like you said, tires already becoming a bit of a factor. I think the dynamic track is coming into play as well. I mean, this battle is still happening. I think Chris Horton is just barely going to clear Nathan Rue, but it took a lot of work. That high line worked very, very well. Cody Giles in the 98, who we were riding along with right there, he's watching this battle. And here's three cars under a blanket. The number 13, Steven Rex. You got Mike Little in the 46, and then you've got Travis Suckup in the 45.
In the 46, he was around a few laps ago, wasn't he?
I believe he was one of the first cautions, so it's been a while, and he's been on a bit of a recovery, and so far he's done a good job working his way back up through the field, which, hey, you know, all the cautions and other drivers having a little bit of adversity definitely helping him out, but anytime you can work your way back up through, you're having a good day. A little bit of more smoke on the straightaway. I think that's somebody scraping the wall. Would not surprise me too much there, but oh, 46, and look at this, JJ Goodbout is going to crack the top 10. He just overtook the 99 of Kyle Heaton. So a driver who was airborne, and I said I was surprised to see him that far back, gets back inside the top 10. So that 92, keep an eye on him. It's not over yet. The night is young, halfway through the race. Meanwhile, this battle continuing, but now with a new contender at play, James Morris, doing a little bit of a Ross Chastain wall ride into the corner, but maybe it's working out because he is still holding on to that position, closing in on these guys. And what a battle this has been. So going single file, I think, has worked out so far. It's got these guys in a position where they can battle, but things aren't quite as chaotic as we expect. And that opening in the back wall, I heard you make the bit of a panic noise there, Corey. I agree. That opening in the wall is a little bit of a scary sight.
And it's scary for what it is, but it's also scary because we are racing online, and the internet can think that you're closer than you really are and just morph your car into a early post-existence. So things to worry about here, but clearly not. But let's go back and focus on our battle at the front here. We'll bring up our battle graphics second to first, get the scope of the situation here. And you can see Galitas a little bit slower, only by about 2/100ths of a second. Yeah, but that gap slowly working up. Oh, well, we got a good run through 3 and 4 there. Looks like it's going to go down. Let's see what it is this time. A 666 to 720. So still the bettering going to Cade McClenny here. So making some headway for that race leader. And Galina's only in his second start with these guys. He raced last week with them at Hickory and did really well. And just trying to come up with another one here. And he's definitely making his presence known, but that 67 is just, he's got it fired up, Andre. You know, with these open setups, it's not just fixed who knows how to drive around best. It's who's got the best setup shop, who's got the best mechanic, who has the most free time. And clearly McClenny has one of those three things as he comes in. But look at the 42 drifting into turn number 1 and 2. Nearly slides up into that 78, but manages to regain control just in enough time to evade contact.
He's driving it in so deep, but he's having to jab the brake in the middle of the corner, which is costing him that momentum. He is racing hard for this position, and props to both these drivers so far. I've not seen a lick of contact, but man, oh man, the way they're driving, you'd think there would be some paint trading going on because they are just so close, and that 42 is driving so hard. You can see he just drives it in so deep, and then they get to the straightaway. Watch this. Oh boy, caution comes out again. Big impact for, I believe that is the 13 machine back there, Rex.
Yeah,
8 car possibly also involved.
Yeah, we'll queue up the replay here.
Yeah, Steven Rex was almost inside the top 10. He lost a lot of positions, so we'll see what transpired here. On board now, looking back.
It's Mike Little behind him. And all right, we're going to have to go down to the gearbox here to see how much actual contact, because that rear deck lid cam kind of blocks a little bit.
Just a low tap.
No net code on that one. That was just pure.
Yeah.
I done got scented there.
Little bit of a low tap. I couldn't tell who got into him after the initial spin, but that was quite substantial contact as well. So now, from what I've heard, if anybody is going to pit, we are within the win.
I don't know if it was just me on it, but that thought kind of cut off at we are at the.
Oh, it might have cut off the push stop, but I said we are at the point where if anybody's going to pit, this is not the time to do it. And as I said that, everybody came down pit road. So put a quarter in the dirt was right box.
Oh yeah, here's Rue.
Yeah, Nathan Rue, the dropping bombs machine a little bit further back. They may have been the only
seconds.
2.
So yeah, 11 seconds wouldn't. It's 21 some odd seconds for 4 tires here. So definitely only getting 2. But as you said, that could be advantageous depending on how the grip levels have changed and the handling and all that fun stuff here. But in lap number 75, and I believe that our race leader is still on the perfect race right here. And 73, yeah, still running the perfect race. I think actually last week, I don't have the results for it because I don't think I have the Dan Lisa or whatever it's called these days. But I'm pretty sure the race winner last week as well had a perfect race. So as you said earlier, qualifying really, really important here in this series.
Yeah, again, short tracks, lots of cars. Obviously, overtaking isn't impossible, but it's going to take a little bit longer than some other track types may allow. So if you can qualify well, it's huge. And we've seen that just with how some of these other drivers that we know are fast have kind of fared in this event. But one thing I do want to keep an eye on is that Nathan Rue, realistically, the 3rd, 4th fastest car on the track on even tires. But now he's going to be restarting in P12. He's got 2 fresh right sides. We'll see if that comes into play, if he can race his way up through the field. He's got a good amount of time to use those tires. Again, it should be lap 75 here, coming to 76 as we are now green. So another single file restart. Cade McClenny, Chris Horton 1 and 2. Cody Giles took over the 3rd position just before. JJ Goodbout now up to 4th. Cameron Bennett in the 8 machine rounds out the top 5. Then Stephen Barnett in the 15. He's just outside the top 5. He's trying to close in a little bit, so we'll see what he can do. But right now it is all Cade McClenny, the 92, trying to reel in that 98 machine, Cody Giles. Let's see if he can. But a battle back here, the 13 of Rex, the 66, trying to make something happen here. Again, that outside lane has been more than viable, but it looks like 13 maybe will take this position no worse for wear. Has a little bit of smoke through the corner. That is going to be yet another caution. I saw the smoke. Did not see the cause.
Immediately aborted his situation here. Let's see what he aborted. It's Scott Mayhew in the 29 Dubby mobile.
Ooh.
No. Yeah, that was either a tow or a admin decision there. Not quite sure which of the two of them, but the Dubby machine and the Rainbow kind of tie-dye-ish machine, whatever it was, having some issues here. And again, want to thank our race sponsor here. This is the let me pull up the graphic here. This is the Davis Chassis Works 120. I don't know why I said it in that manner, but is that our race leader, Cade McClenny? Is going to throw away the perfect race. Obviously, the fuel is going to be of the necessity, and perhaps the Hoosiers, as they will pump that jack up faster than, probably about as fast as a Great Value brand jack would pump up there, but let's see, is he going to go for the full suite? Yep, he's going to go for 4 tires.
So that is interesting. From what I heard, most drivers are going to be opting for 2, but hey, if you're as fast as the 67, you're confident enough that you can make some passes, I guess take those 4 tires. It is going to be lap 80 at the moment, and we're going to go around again, so it should be, I think, coming to 82 when we do go green. So that's just under 40 laps to make use of those tires.
Yeah, so I know a lot of times in these kind of short track race, well, really every race has this point, but usually short track races, it's a little bit earlier, where you have that lap of no return point, where your bet is made, where if you make a pit stop after X lap, you're not going to have enough time to get the benefit of that decision. And coming here with a restart, maybe 35 to go, it's going to put him back to 13th. I would feel personally that a pit stop at this point is past that point of no return. I fail to think that he's going to be able to get 12 positions in about 35 laps, especially with how fast some of these guys are in front of him.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how important the tires are, but I also do have a quick update on Cameron Stone, the only driver to completely DNF so far tonight. I asked him, I said, why'd you park it? He said, I didn't. Carson unplugged the Wi-Fi router. So Cameron Stone, he's a father as of last year. Carson just turned 1 year old, I believe about a week ago. And, well, I guess 1 year old is enough to figure out how to unplug a Wi-Fi router. That's what happened over at the Stone household.
Well, Denny Hamlin found out about that with monitors, which I still think that was staged to this day. When Denny Hamlin's daughter turned off his screen in the middle of that Pro Invitational race a few years back, but gotta keep the electronics hidden when the kids are around. So unfortunate for Cam, because he was a top 6 car. I would put him in that bracket, but now he's going to be down there in the 21st position. But that looks like we're going to be going single file from this point out in the race. And Chris Horton is going to be leading this one down with JJ Goodbout in the best position he has had all race here. And we are going to have one more caution lap.
Yep, we are going to go around again. I'm not sure why we're burning more laps under caution. This is...
Remember that race? What was it? The Brett Bodine race in 1990 where they ran under caution for, like 27 laps?
Yeah. Yeah, but we have real timing and scoring. We're not just, having our girlfriends with stopwatches and notebooks, so...
Makes you wonder how they did a 500-lap race at Bristol with a notebook. I have absolutely no idea.
The amount of scoring errors that probably went unnoticed throughout the years is probably more than we know. I'll be fully honest with you there. But lights are finally off on the pace car, and it is going to be pulling into the pit. So coming to lap 85, it'll be 36 to go when they cross this stripe. We're doing some IndyCar draft breaking under pacing, apparently. Race leader Chris Horton is going to show us the way into the corner, but he's got JJ Goodbout P2 right behind him. James Morris, Stephen Barnett running out the top 4. Bailey dropping down to 6 as Brent Mecca sticks his nose down underneath, seeing what he can do. Looks like he's got a bit of a rocket ship. Big contact with the wall for Travis Suckup in the 45.
Yes, indeed the case there. As you can see on the back of the shot, the 99 Kyle Heaton, he's right there in the back of the pack here, that number 99 car. And right in front of him is Rue, who's trying to come back after those 2 tires down to the inside of Stephen Barnett. And that is one of those facts that I randomly filled in because he didn't fill one out.
East Chipotle 6. That's my brother-in-law. That's literally just my brother-in-law. I'll never understand it. He's got Crohn's. It upsets his Crohn's. Still eats it every day. On the outside, 15 gets into the outside wall. Bad exit there for 15, but he's able to keep it going. I don't think that was too much damage. Shouldn't be much of a detriment there. But this battle right here as we go on board with Bailey in the 78. Sleeps upside down. I'm going to assume that you filled that one out as well. I doubt he is a bat. or any other creature which may sleep upside down. But in the meantime, he's going to try to get a nose underneath the car ahead. Didn't quite get there. So for Brett Mekas, he's going to hold on to 4th place just a little bit longer in that 44. And we got a bit of a breakaway out front. Chris Horton, JJ Goodbout, James Morris all separated by about 3-4 car lengths apiece. And now the battle continues. The 44 finally opens the door. Don't give it away to the 78 of Bailey. He's going to get down there on that curb, try to make something happen. It's going to be 2x2 because now Nathan Rue with the 99 is going to have to play a little bit of defense here as he rocks that top line where he is oh so familiar. A little bit further back, that is going to be Steven Rex. He was involved in one of those cautions, dropped all the way back to 16th or 17th. Now back inside the top 10 through all the pitting and all the craziness. But holy goodness, look at this. Thought about 3 wide for just a moment. These 3 cars, you could put them under a blanket. And here comes the 67. 4 fresh tires. This is what it's going to do for you. It's going to put you on really good pace. But like you said, Corey, does he have enough time?
Yeah, well, it took him, I don't know, I was kind of watching it as we were watching this battle for about 3rd on back. I was keeping an eye on him, and he was side by side there with Suckup for probably the better part of 5-6 laps. And the biggest point of contention in front of the 67 is Rue. Rue is on those 2 tires, but he's probably the 2nd fastest car here on the circuit. If he can get through this pack without contact, well, can't do that. But luckily, he's going to retain control. Well, I think he's going to retain control. Looks like Kyle Heaton there, Captain Chipotle there, he was the one who got the worst end of the stick because he had to back off more than anybody else to evade the contact. That puts him right into the realm of Spencer Teal to the inside in that 2 car. Now he's in the fence. Heaton is just lost. That burrito is just dripping all over the place here. It might even drip some more here. Got some rice on the floor.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of contact there out of that number 2 of Teal. That is not going to be a fun situation for Heaton trying to deal with that. The 67 is going to get around the 13, put him up into P7. Now he is going to have 24 and a half laps to try to close out these last 7 positions, but every car he gets closer to is going to be progressively faster. Nathan Rue apparently does a great SpongeBob impression. Again, I don't think he filled that out, but he is right there. He's going to make a move down on the 44. Brent Mekas going in the wrong direction so far. It seems like he was holding on to 4th pretty good, but Rue's making a move, not quite able to close it out right there. And meanwhile, Cabe right there with him, so closing that gap even further on those 4 fresh tires. But it's going to be tough. This is a fast gaggle of cars to try to navigate. Chris Horton out to a 1-second lead now over JJ Goodbout. That is the biggest lead we've seen so far tonight. I don't think we've seen any leader stretch it out to that 1-second mark, but leave it to the 42, multi-time winner this season. And look at those wheel inputs, Corey. My goodness, he is sawing on that thing.
Yeah, that's JJ there, and who's to say North Wilkesboro is an easy track? Answer not JJ. Yeah, look at this. You'd think he's I hope he doesn't have a direct drive because he'd be fighting it, but the lap time's not that far off, only 6/7 of a second. We'll see what it is upon update this time by 61 to a 66, so half a tenth slower a lap. Not a lot on a lap-by-lap basis, but that'll build up rather quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're losing just half a tenth here and there, it will add up. James Morris is now starting to get a little bit hungry here. I think he smelled the blood in the water, and he can tell JJ's not having a fun time with that car, sawing on the wheel. He's trying to make something happen as we go on board. Hey, somebody filled it out. Season 1 NSR LMSC champion.
He's the champion of this car. Yeah, basically, anytime you see something ridiculous, that's because I have a spreadsheet where these guys fill out, and they fill out most of it. As 67 in the fence here, that was McClenny there on the outside of Rue. He's trying to get that spot back from, the 2nd fastest car here. They'll go side by side, but yeah, I have a spreadsheet, and for some reason, people do not want to put a fact. I said it doesn't need to be anything real. You don't need to be a champion or a real-life driver. It could be that you won the spelling bee in 1999, but for some reason, they don't. So, you know what? Open chance to roast, and I got the green light from admin, so having some fun with these guys, as we like to do here. We like to be professional, but we like to have a laugh at the same time. But 67 gets into the back of Mekas there, and that's going to be a caution. 67 around. There goes his race up and smoking. Look at the acrobatic 360 from Mekas there.
Yeah, he got a good chunk of that. Tell you what that was. That was a little bit of impatience, I think, out of the 67. He knew he had to go. But unfortunately, laps winding down as he comes into the corner here. He's going to dive it down and just a little bit too much. Gets into the quarter panel, and from there, Nathan Rue doesn't really have anywhere to go.
Everybody's checking up in front of him,
and just a bit of a kick flip there out of the 44, and he's maybe going to be able to keep on going. I mean, we've seen J.J. Goodbout take a similar hit, and he kept going, so don't want to consider that damage terminal, but I think you're absolutely right. That is going to be all she wrote for Cade McClenny's race, and that's crazy. I mean, to think that this all came down to he made a pit stop. He chose to come in for tires, and Chris Horton, JJ, they decided to stay out, and that may be the move that wins them a race.
Yeah, we'll pull up the stints on the left side of your screen so you can see Chris Horton has been on circuit for the entire duration, and I'd have to imagine at this juncture that that is going to be the old game plan there. It's Scott Mayhew getting his lap back, the free pass from the 17 spot, but J.J. Goodbout, he pitted, that's required math, 106 laps in, so he pitted around that 30, 40, but then you can see that group of guys who all pitted within one or two cautions of each other, so and pertaining to this, Andre, for the end of the race where we have 14 laps to go, I mean, it seems like the 42 is going to be the man to beat. Goodbout hasn't had it, and Galinas and Rue, the next fastest guys on the track, they got a couple cars in front of him, so if they can maybe get around, if Galinas can get around the 92 and the 18 in quick fashion, he might have a chance, but that's going to be a tall fight to feet to fight. It's going to be difficult to do. Let's use that form of English there. But the pace car is going to pull in. 42 on the loud pedal. He's going to kind of stack him up a little bit, do this little IndyCar snake down the front straightaway, as you said, and we'll fire off into turn one.
He is going to have a solid lead by the time they even get to the corner. Yeah, indeed, a little bit of contact in the wall.
Yeah, very nearly into that fence, if not just a little bit. And looks like they're going to try to go side by side for second. We were saying it before the caution that the 18 was showing some speed. He took a look inside a Goodbout there, but had to abort there to evade contact, and that threw him right into the front bumper of the 78 of Bailey Galinas there, that New Hampshire native there in that number 78 car, and he has to find a way by, go a little bit further back. Kyle Heaton, we talked about him having some issues getting loose, getting swirly, getting contact, but he's still through all the carnage, still within the top 10 side by side there with Steven Rex here as we close in on 10 laps to go.
Yeah, he's going to hold that bottom line. The 99 Kyle Heaton doing everything he can to get around Steven Rex as the lead cars start to break away ever so slightly. That number 3 machine doing everything he can. Nathan Rue's been quick tonight, but maybe not quick enough. He's been battling with Bailey and James and just about everybody else. Currently sitting at P5. Chris Horton out to half a second lead over Goodbout. Goodbout himself's got about 3/10 over James Morris. So a little bit of separation towards the front as we are under 10 to go. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, these drivers not giving up fourth position, not quite yet. The 13, the 99, the 98. Okay, that's going to be an issue. Oh, hello, pit road wall. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Golden in the 86 who had the most amount of issue, and we will soon find the cause of that. Well, they're 3 wide at North Wilkesboro, so that's the first cause. And then there's the 67 getting his race in a little bit worse fashion there, and really no harm, no foul there. Now, we did see the 67 have a small part of that. I think as a subsidiary, wasn't a part of the direct cause. But yeah, they're 3 wide here entering the corner, and absolutely nowhere to go. So we sent him around, but he really had no alternative there.
So we don't have green and white checkers here at Goose Graphics Late Model Stock Tour. So if we get another caution, that caution will very likely end it. And when we go green, there will not be but a few laps to go. So these drivers, I don't know if that's going to be something on their mind or not, but we've always ended caution.
Did you get confirmation on that, or did you remember that awkward time this season where we were surprised that we didn't have one?
Yeah, so I think they mentioned in announcements, somebody asked about it, and or somewhere, one of the channels, somebody asked about it, and I believe the response was that no, we do not have them. So that should, I think, confirm it, but we'll see. I mean, maybe they change things. Obviously, sometimes you make changes, and leagues, work on the rules as they go. But Chris Horton is going to take the green flag. It'll be 5 to go. here at the stripe. Look at the aggression out of JJ Goodbout. I think he knew, well, Chris has been faster than me. If I'm going to get around him, I got to do it now while he's close. Unfortunately, not able to quite get close enough to close the deal. And you can see at a turn 4, coming to 4 to go, the 42 just pulls away ever so slightly, and that 18 showing speed. I think he may have a little bit of a faster car than Goodbout, but he's not been able to get around him. Goodbout's done a great job playing a little bit of defense here, and he's kind of running his line. He's not really blocking. He's not really doing anything overly aggressive or heinous whenever that 18 tries to make something happen, but he's just running his line, and the 18 has yet to be able to get around him. So good defense there, but as we come out of the corner, you can tell Goodbout is pushing that car as hard as he can. He's not dropping back from the leader like he was on that last stint because he's just trying so hard. It'll be 2 to go at the stripe this time into turn 1. About a 10th advantage that time to Chris Horton. So Goodbout's giving it a good effort there, but Horton right now, fastest car of these leaders.
Yep, that pit strategy is going to work to a T. He's going to come off corner number 4 here, take the white flag. He got really loose there off of 4, but not enough to deter him from his eminent success here. White flag in the air for that number 42. Started the season off strong earlier on, but had a little bit of a fall off mid-season, but coming towards the end, he's going to do his very best. It looks like we're going to have a wreck there. We're going to have a huge wreck, but it's going to all be behind our race leader as Chris Horton gets the victory here.
And I guess he wanted to be a part of it. Wanted to be a part of the wreck after the checkered. We'll take a look at the replay, but it looked like Goodbout just got cleaned out from what I saw.
Yeah, it's
18 might have got a little aggressive here racing for second place. If this was for the lead, I could understand, but I'm not sure I understand spinning somebody for second place and then costing yourself the race and everybody else caught up in this. That was...
Oh, Atlanta. Holy...
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to have to give that one the Bonehead Move of the Race award. I don't understand doing that for second place.
Yeah, well, I don't know how post-race penalties work here in the series, but perhaps we will be finding out into some capacity here as the old backwards but in the correct direction victory lap here. I don't know if that's a thing, but I guess if it's not, well, perhaps maybe now it is here. But because we are on a time crunch here, let's go and give our final results here today from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Getting that win via the pit strategy in a rather interesting style, we'll say it there, was Chris Horton by a 1.5 seconds. Nathan Rue gets the second here, so kind of finished probably where he should have either way. You have Steven Rex in third, Kyle Heaton in fourth. Bailey Galinas had probably a top 3 car. We'll have to settle for 5th. Cody Giles, Cameron Bennett, I don't think we said his name once here. He's in 7th. Teal, Garrett, and Cade McClenny, the fastest guy, has to settle for 10th here on the evening.
Outside of the top 10, Brent Meckes, Stephen Barnett, Scott Mayhew, and JJ Goodbout should have had a better points day if it were not for that last incident there. Very unfortunate. He was on his way to P2 there, but James Morris, not the Doors, not listening to the Doors. He is going to be P15. Jonathan Golden, P16. 17th goes to Travis Suckup. Deegan Smith is going to be 18th. 19th goes to the mad scientist Mark Royer. Running out the top 20 is going to be Mike Little. And then we have Cameron Stone, one large number of laps down. 74 laps down after the router mishap. And that'll do it for the post-race results.
All right, and now we got to quickly go through our interviews here. And, well, our race winner here, Chris Horton, well, you survived the last lap carnage there. Luckily, you were far enough ahead, but that pit strategy was the name of the game. You stayed out the whole duration when McClenny and Rue both pitted. What was the mindset on that? And, well, clearly it worked out for you, but how was the handling with that car towards the end of it?
I mean, we had a pretty good handling car. I mean, we were losing a little bit of drive there towards the end, but we got it done. Just got to thank Fusion Setup Shop for everything they do, and everyone here is clean.
Now, North Wilkesboro, typically a track where it is hard to pass, but we are on that new dynamic track model. So we saw you side by side, rocking the top, getting loose, battling people on the outside. How much fun was it? Fun here driving side by side so much, or was it kind of frustrating? Being dead equal with each line.
I mean, the old track model. I don't know what to call it, but I mean, it was the raciness hasn't changed so much on this track. It's just the track's gotten a whole lot slicker. I mean, it made it really hard to keep the car under you on the outside. I mean, I felt a whole lot better on the inside. I mean, made for some good racing though.
Yeah, and we're made out for some good racing, and the strategy call puts you in victory circle. We'll see what you can do next week at the long race at Martinsville. But congrats on the win, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
And now Andre has caught up with second place, Nathan Rue.
Mr. Rue, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Nathan, you had a really good car all night long. You were battling up inside the top 5, and a little bit of good luck there at the end got you up to P2. It looked like you guys were really having a hard time with the handling out there. Everybody slide around, sawing on the wheel. What was it like behind the wheel at that number 3 tonight?
Yeah, you know, with the new track, everybody's still really just trying to dial these things in, and we run, you know, longer races than the normal officials do. So, you know, we missed across a little bit. You know, we kind of knew tires now, or after about 20, they all kind of par out, but, you know, we knew it. We had kind of burned up the right rear. So we tried something there, thought I could get back up there. Looked like we were a 5th place car, really. But sometimes it's better be lucky and good. You know, we went into 3. I said, well, if they do anything, I need to be on the top. So we drove in there hard on the top. It paid off. They got together. So, you know, we'll take it. That kept us close to Chris. But congrats to him, you know, first 1 to 3. So that's 3 wins for him. So good race, and it's a lot of fun out there.
And last thing I wanted to ask you about, you did take 2 tires on your pit stop, and I know that at some tracks, taking 2 tires actually makes the car feel a little bit worse. Did the 2 tires kind of work out the way you thought it would? Did it feel pretty good?
You know, you can do 2, you can do 4, and everything's good for about 20, but once you get the heat in them and once you scuff them up, I mean, they kind of balance out. I mean, you know, after 20, 30 laps, these tires kind of stay where they're at least that's what we're seeing right now, and it looks like everybody else is kind of seeing the same thing, but you know, you never know. And when you're in such a tight points battle with these guys, with Chris and JJ and everybody, you know, you just start to try something when you know where you're at's where you're at. You got to try something. So don't think it worked out for us, but you know, we got a little lucky there at the end, and we'll take it and go on to Martinsville next week.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit of luck never hurts. But again, thank you for your time. Congrats on a good points day, and keep that momentum going.
Yeah, just got to say thanks to Goose Graphics, Red Spoilers, Dubby, everybody that helps out. Beef Jerky Unlimited, you know, I know I'm missing a few turn 1, but I just want to get everybody in there and thank them for helping us put this league on, because it's really growing into something good, and I think a lot of people are seeing it. So
absolutely. Well, thank you and have a good night.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and then our final podium finisher here, which I don't think we've talked about it. We talked about it a few times here today, but we got Steve and Rex. Well, Steve, you pulled off a podium here. You were kind of in the top 10, right in the Hornet's Nest most of the race, but took advantage here, as we have on screen, of that last lap carnage there. Got yourself on the podium. What was the view out of the windshield there with cars going flying there through turn 4?
Yeah, I seen it all happening, and
well, yeah, you were involved in it, actually.
There was nothing. Yeah, there was nothing I can do, so I just had to. I didn't lift. I knew guys would have passed me from the back, so I just stayed in it.
Yeah, you used the old SpongeBob Mrs. Puff strategy. Floor it, and it got you on the podium here. So as we were talking to some of these guys, North Wilkesboro seeming to be it raced like itself, even though we have the new tire and track system into play. So what was it like for you here, the first kind of test here at North Wilkesboro with all the track heat? We saw the strategies. How did it work for you here tonight?
Yeah, it felt like I had a lot of grip. Car got tight on the long run, a little bit loose at the beginning. I didn't have a top 3 speed. I was about 6th to 8th, 6th if I got lucky, 8th if I was unlucky, I guess.
Well, you managed to pull off the podium there, whether it was luck or a partial skill. You pulled it off either way. Well, we got the long one next week at Martinsville. We'll see if you can get that thing geared up, and we'll see what you can do there next week, man.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, well, that is our broadcast here. I want to thank everyone, and we forgot to do our sponsor shout-outs there, of course, T-Bread Spoilers, Goose Graphics, Turn 1 Design, the 29th Division Association, 116thFoundation.com, if I didn't already say Dubby, and then, of course, Beef Jerky Unlimited there. I was supposed to say that earlier, but thanks for Nathan for kind of taking care of that for me, and, of course, check all those sponsors out there, Worley Foundation as well. So that is going to be Corey and Andre signing out of the booth. We'll be right back here I will be for the Red Sox Racing League in a few minutes if you're watching this live, but have a great night, and we'll talk to you next time.